Simon's gotta be around here somewhere. Oh, hey, Tails! Hey, Tails! Hey, Tails!
So recently, the blackpill YouTuber, Tails, doxed himself. From what I gather, he posted a screenshot that contained his name on his second YouTube channel. Never knew he had one, but he let this one slip. Usually he's good with keeping his identity hidden, as am I. I think he doxed his name, since from what I've seen, people found his Instagram, and they also found his girlfriend's account, and they've seen his face. So people are attacking the comments of his personal Instagram account and his girlfriend's account. Now, if anyone doesn't know who this guy is, he basically is a blackpill content creator. For those who don't know, the blackpill is one of the 3 ways of seeing life/attracting women that is common in the online men's communities, or the manosphere, or whatever. There's 3 pills. The blue pill is stuff like, oh, just be yourself, be kind, be confident, women will like you for who you are. The red pill is you gotta have money, be in shape, that attracts women. This is like the common view in like the self-improvement space. The black pill is height and face are most important. Hair also helps. Look at all the women swooning over tall guys with lean faces and long hair. That's more important than gym selling. There's more to it, and depending on your source of information, they have different meanings, but generally that's what they refer to. Personally, I fall in between a mix of the black pill and red pill. I do agree with the blue pill point of you should just be yourself, since it's hard to continuously keep up the persona of someone else. But not every personality type/every appearance appeals to everyone. I had someone comment on a video saying how I was really good looking. Not sure where he got this from, since the only thing I've shown related to my face is my hair. But my guess was he saw some DMs I showed in my Adonis School scam video, where I showed some girls sliding into my DMs. Well, one of those girls has a thing for half Asians, specifically half Filipinos, like me. Guess what? I can assure you this isn't the majority of women. And the other was from some fat chick. You do realize fat chicks have super low standards, right? Lol. So, the point of that is, it shows how my point of view has been molded, based on what I've seen from women over the years. If you be yourself, it makes it easy since you don't need to copy anyone, but maybe you aren't their type, just like how not every girl prefers half-ethnic dudes. And although money and being in shape definitely helps, like I noticed way more attention from women when I got in shape, in some cases they don't care. They prefer face and height. You can get shoe lifts to fake height the same way women fake bigger tits with push-up bras, or padding on their jeans to make their asses look larger and more plump. And you can lean down to have a leaner jawline, and you can do stuff with your hair to make it look better, but I can elaborate more on this stuff in another video. The point of this video is being doxed. So, the reason Tails is getting haters spamming his personal stuff is because he posts a lot of opinions that people disagree with. I hated him at first since I thought he was just way too cynical. Like, he mentioned how Wheat Waffles was 5'10" in a video and that was short? Short for whose standards? A center in the NBA? Tails is 6'1" from what I gather, so he's not that much taller, but I guess he was looking at it from an internet chick's perspective. You know, you gotta be at least 6'2", rah 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 rah. But there's more stuff like this that he says, so naturally he has some haters, and they haven't been able to do anything to him. Until now. Now his identity is leaked. I didn't see it since I'm not on his YouTube 24/7, I'm obviously very busy. But now, any hater that was fortunate enough to catch it now has the capability to dox him. So now he's considering deleting his channel. At the time of writing this script, he hasn't, but he's considering it. Maybe he wants to protect his identity from haters, or maybe he has some sort of job where his content could get him into trouble? I don't know. I haven't seen any videos where he talks about where he works. I'll also mention that some people think he's lying, like it's just an attention grab to gain subscribers, since it's drama related, which almost always results in higher view counts and whatnot, but who knows. Another blackpill channel, Rehab Room, which was mentioned in my Adonis School scam video, also keeps his identity hidden, but I don't think he's doing it in the case of protecting his career, if he has one. It's because he admits himself he's a sub 5. and you don't really need to reveal your identity for his style of videos. As for me, it's a pain in the ass censoring your face for physique pics and physique videos and whatnot, and maybe talking to a camera instead of having some images/stock videos playing is better for the audience, but I'll talk more about why that's a bad idea later. So, why did I make this video? How is this relevant to me? It's because I understand not wanting to be doxxed. I've gone through some efforts to limit my online identity. My personal Instagram was public up until a few months ago. I left it public since I know people around my area like to have a sneaky stalk, but now, given my promotions at work and my brand growth, I need to be a bit more careful. I've also currently disabled my personal LinkedIn, just in case I've missed some info somewhere. And even so, I actually changed my surname on LinkedIn. You generally don't do this since your employers need your full name for the sake of employment records and finding you from your resume and whatnot, but I'm not looking for any new roles at the moment anyway, since I'm progressing quite well in my current one. And as regular viewers know, this job is pretty much a straight line to finance manager, which is a pretty good job to have. I also locked my Facebook profile, in which I also changed my name, so anyone that does somehow find me has zero info on me except some tiny image of my profile pic. There was one way to find out who I was though, and my info was on a public Australian government website, but I also took precautions and paid to get this removed too. And for anyone who's emailed me, 1, apologies for being really late on replies. I mentioned this in a past video, but I actually don't know the password to that. So every time I need to log onto that, I need to do a lot of two-factor authentication, verification shit involving my personal email and text codes to your phone and all that crap. So it's just a pain for me to actually check my emails. But 2, when you get a response from me, it won't say from gamification of life, it'll say from a name. Now, I am aware of that, and I knew that would be a thing when I set up the email, so that name is not actually my name. So if you try searching that on social media, not only will you not find my actual stuff, but it's not actually my name. So I did think of that. I had my thumbnail guy point this out to me a while ago, so I appreciate his help with that, but I was aware of that. So that is to say, I've taken a lot of precautions to hide who I actually am. In an upcoming video, I'm going to go over my Excel documents that track my progress in life, and you'll notice in the screen recordings, a bit at the top of the screen is cut off. That's because I removed my name. So my identity is hidden. I also censor my face whenever I do gym-related pics, again, to protect my identity. If anyone I knew personally found this, they could easily tell it's me, like, we've seen your room before, or we've seen that locker room at work, or we've seen that gym before, or we can tell it's you by your hair/the gym clothes you wear. But someone who is only briefly acquainted with me wouldn't be able to tell. So, if someone saw those images online and then saw me at my office job, they wouldn't be able to put 2 and 2 together. There's always the risk that some giga hater I know finds my stuff, can clearly tell it's me. Like, how many people do you know with my hair, with my body, that are doing accounting, working 7 days a week, stock trading, with their own YouTube channel, studying their CPA, who have land and they're going to build a house, etc.? Probably none. So, bingo, found him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
And then they find my employer through mutual friends and find their email contact and show my boss some less professional videos of mine. But even if they find that generic email contact at work, you know, like hello@business here, or admin@business here, or contact@business here, or info@businesshere.com.au, that type of email address, I actually have access and control over that. So even then I could possibly intercept something. Now, although this is super unlikely, it is a risk when you do this online stuff. Now, why would I get fired over my content? One possible reason is working 2 days each weekend at the supermarket. They know I work there casually, but not 18 hours per week. It might change their view of me becoming the accountant of the company and overseeing the finance department. Quite an outdated view. You know, like, oh, we can't have a minimum wage worker in charge of this, blah, blah, blah. But have you seen the cost of living? But it might also be a scapegoat if I was like super tired one day. Obviously, people have bad sleeps here and there, but they may chalk it up to the retail gig. You know, oh, you wouldn't be so tired if you didn't work late at the supermarket. Shit like that. Like, yeah, I am very tired on a Monday morning when I work, but I'm tired every Monday morning regardless. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, I doubt this since my workplace is great, but again, it's a risk you got to consider. There is also the risk of pay transparency. If somehow other people at my company found my videos, they'd see my pay, and maybe they'd ask for raises too. Another potential problem. But the more important thing I'm worried about is not being able to be super transparent or be myself in my videos. I show my physique progress and whatnot, but it's unprofessional for a white-collar professional like myself to be showing pictures in their underwear on social media. It's obviously common in the fitness world, but not in my primary field of accounting. Although I will say, I've seen some public profiles of some chicks who work as like a receptionist or something, and they've got ass pics all over their social media, but I suppose that's different. Or their place doesn't care, or their workplace hasn't seen it, or no one's been that much of a hater to send that to their boss. So maybe the body posting isn't a big deal, the pay transparency isn't a big deal, but it's my opinions on certain topics that might get me into trouble. And again, transparency, I keep it real with y'all. But if my identity is out there, I need to withhold some transparency for the sake of protecting my career. Such as me telling you guys not to get married if you're in the States or Australia. Only consider it if the laws in your jurisdiction are fair and not biased against men. But heaven forbid your professional workplace hears you say that. But I'll touch more on that later. One argument may be like, well, you don't even have 1,000 subs, you're not that big, so what are you worried about? Well, you never know. One of my subs may actually know of me IRL. Like maybe they know my face at the supermarket and they hate me, but they can't put 2 and 2 together since they wouldn't be able to tell it's me from my brand. Although I'll touch on that later. But there's also the risk of actually becoming really big in the future and haters start digging through all my old videos trying to find info to dox me. If I have my face in any of my old videos, it's over. They could dox me with that. And in the future, I'll have enough on my plate with my career advancements, better investor acumen, managing tenants/real estate, and a larger brand. I won't have time to go digging through all my old videos, trying to find where I've shown my face and remove those videos. I don't even have time to go through my old videos now, and I don't even have my CPA yet, nor am I super good at stock trading, nor do I have a house yet, or tenants, nor do I have a big brand, let alone the gym thing and other shit. Like, one thing I did manage to catch though is I had an older video where I was going through some money or some crypto or some shit, and I don't know exactly why I was going through that video. I think I was looking for some crypto I invested in or something like that. But I did a really lazy screen recording or a really lazy job of the editing, and this was like before my channel blew up. This was when I had like maybe like 2 subscribers and both of them were from like other channels I have or some shit, right? So like next to no one actually saw that video, but there was a point in the video where I accidentally hovered over a certain note I left over some finance thing I wrote, and I actually made that adjustment on the sheet at work. Like I created that Excel sheet when I was at my office job and then sent it to my email address, and then, you know, that's how I have it. Because we had some downtime at the office, so I was just working on my finances at work. But when you add notes on Excel, it adds notes from like the user. So the user was my office job. So for a brief second, it hovered over that and you could actually see the name of the company I worked for. So I had to actually remove that video. My intention was to like remove it and then re-upload it edited, and I just didn't end up doing it. And in my first ever video, you could actually see my name and not really my face, kinda, not really, but it was more so you could actually kind of see my name. I've got my degrees hanging on the wall. Image you're seeing on screen now is a point of view when I'm about to go to bed. Like that's what I see when I rest my head on my pillows every night. And in my first ever YouTube video, I showed like how I'd finally set up my YouTube account. And then I decided to flash my degrees and stuff because it's like, ooh, look at what I've achieved. But I went over that and I'm like, holy shit, you can actually see my name. I had no idea it was that clear. So I had to put some massive blur all over the thing. I think about 70 people saw it at the time. So I hope no one actually downloaded that video or took notes or anything. If you did, fuck you, delete it. No, I'm just kidding. Well, actually, I'm not kidding, delete it. But I guess even so, I did remove all my socials, so I don't think that'll be a problem. And although my name isn't super common, there have been other people with my name I've seen. So even if you did somehow have that info, again, as I've changed my name on social medias anyway, but that name doesn't actually help you find who I am. Although there is a chance that somehow I become really big on social media and some haters really want to know my name, and then you guys have that info. But I hope that's not the case. But anyway, you gotta be woke or you get fired, because that's how the world is these days. But the woke thing is a fucking joke. But guess what? Heaven forbid I say that at the office, or if CPA Australia finds that out, they'll be like, gamification of life's views do not align with our principles. We will terminate his employment / his CPA license as we do not stand by his views, or some shit. As I've said before, this is unlikely, but I know it happens. Some professional body removes the qualification from someone who earned it just because they see the world from a different light. Now, I wouldn't turn into a political or anti-woke reaction channel, but I will call out some bullshit I see from time to time. In recent videos, I poked fun at diversity hires and I've shown why it's such a bad idea and why it just simply doesn't work. And anyone in the professional field knows this. And often views like this can actually seep into my stats, which is also useful to talk about to you guys. Example, having on the ground information about careers to avoid since they're becoming too woke, or they skew towards hating men, such as human resources, and men make up a significant majority of my audience, so I can steer you guys away from that. But obviously, the professional world isn't going to be too happy about this. Additionally, it can also be good for the investor stat. There was some publicly traded company that makes wedding dresses, or hosts marriage ceremonies, or something along those lines, but they had a shocking earnings report one season, so this would have been very easy money, since many of the boomer analysts on Wall Street aren't aware of the decline in the dating / relationship market at the moment, since they're the ones who give the stock expectations and whatnot. But if they don't see this coming, they'll be like, oh yeah, marriage may be a bit up. Fuck no, it's way down. But obviously because they're from a different time, they don't know what it's like now, so they wouldn't know this. It's kind of similar to that B.R. Hezza video where he knew this stock was going to report good earnings because he'd seen a lot of other people his age buying some sort of clothing brand because it was like a TikTok trend, but obviously the boomer analysts on Wall Street have no idea about this, so that's like why this sort of boots on the ground experience can actually help with this stuff. But anyway, yeah, the boomers aren't aware of the drastic decline in the dating market at the moment. It's a combination of women's standards being way too high, especially considering what many of these women offer in return. And it's also a combination of the lack of quality men as well, but generally men aren't anywhere near as picky, as well as men just not wanting to wife up a hoe. So shorting companies like this are a clear as day money play. So if I find out like a wedding related company is reporting earnings soon, it could prompt me to tell you guys to look out for it. Like, hey, FYI, marriage company reporting soon. Not financial advice, of course, but what do you guys think? Do you think the number of weddings has increased lately? Read between the lines. But marriage is good. You're just an incel. You can't be saying that. Well, you can if you're hiding behind a keyboard, but if I'm out in the open, with my career wide open for haters to snipe down, then I'd be doing everything I can to protect that. And I do this by having a woke, or at least a neutral, opinion on things. But that's so boring. Do you really want to see another bland personality on this platform? I don't. There's plenty enough NPCs on this thing. I hate that term, despite the fact it's relevant to the game of life, but it's true. There's so many bland personalities on this platform that all think the same, like an NPC. However, I do understand the appeal. When you don't know the identity of someone, you want to see their face, you want to know their name, just who they are as a person. A lot of the bigger channels that have never had a face reveal always have people asking for one, since they want to know. Fair enough, I am like that sometimes too. But in my case, having an actual career, and by extension, really valuable assets such as Australian real estate on the line, it's just not a very smart idea. Maybe I could consider it once I'm deeper into my career and have a larger brand. So like if I'm like 10 years into my CPA experience and my employer at the time finds out that I sometimes have politically incorrect opinions, they might be like, well, you're pretty valuable and not like we can replace you easily. We'll let this slide as long as not everyone in the world starts calling for your cancellation. Or maybe if my brand was large enough, I'd have enough of an audience backing me if I got into trouble with cancel culture, or at least enough income to substitute my career if I lost that due to cancel culture. It really shouldn't be this way. Cancel culture is a cancer. Cancel culture, more like cancer culture. And it's often a major overreaction to fake news. Did everyone forget about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation? Look at how much Johnny Depp lost in income due to false allegations. Like we've also seen it with Brian Johnson lately, like Jesus Christ, it's everywhere. Now, this could make for a future video, like, not sure when I'll make it, but it could be something along the lines of women and asset protection. The family courts in the States and Australia absolutely hate men. They will fleece you for every cent they can, but I know places like Cyprus and Iran have much more fair family court laws, so you wouldn't lose everything as a male. But you'd lose your house in family courts in Australia or the States and other countries. So generally, no marriage. Obviously, there are some really good chicks out there, but you really just got to be careful. Like the odds generally aren't in your favor. It can happen. I have seen, good marriages and stuff work out, but I think a lot of you guys also just don't vet the women properly too. Like you'll ignore really obvious red flags. So just work with the odds you've got. The odds simply say it's generally just not a good idea. And some argue, well, the law sees you as a de facto couple if you live together, if you cohabitate. Well, guess what? I wouldn't do that either. I could have gotten a girlfriend yesterday. There'd be no chance she's living with me. Anytime soon, that is. There would need to be a lot of years of vetting beforehand. Even so, I'd just establish a corporate trustee and park all my assets in that. Yet another reason to start this brand/business. You don't need a business to establish a corporate trustee or discretionary trust to park your assets in, at least not in Australia. You can set one up otherwise, but I'd have asset protection measures in place. Not tax advice, of course, seek a professional, but something to consider. If you legally sign your partner on as a tenant, they can't take your home in family courts. I've literally seen examples of this, where the dude let the girl live rent-free in his place. They split up after 2 years, she goes to the family courts and she ends up taking the house. I've also seen times where the dude was clever enough to make her sign on as a tenant and pay rent. And when they split, she tried to take him to court to take the house, but the courts didn't allow it since there was legal proof she was a tenant. Now, I'm biased here because I already have my own place without the income or help from a spouse. In a lot of cases, in fact, in pretty much most cases, I see my boots on the ground experience in my state of Victoria in Australia, a lot. Oh, well, I've already said most. So most dudes I know who have a house have it with their partner. Because obviously shit's super expensive here in terms of real estate, so most people can't do it without the help of someone else's income, which is where a girlfriend or a wife or whatever would come into the picture. So in that case, obviously this don't cohabitate rule doesn't work for them. I'm just hoping you vetted her correctly and picked the right one. But for me, I've seen the stats and it's just not worth it, especially considering I don't need the financial help of a spouse to get my house because I pretty much already have it. It's just, I just need to give it more time, right? So why would I cohabitate when I don't need to? If you can, I would suggest not cohabitating, just have your own separate place. She can stay over and whatnot, and if she really wants to live with you, sign her on as a tenant. or at least do some asset protection stuff in place. Like there's just join the Men's Financial Advice page on Facebook. You see a different story every week of some dude getting fleeced. The courts hate you as a man. That's simply the way it goes. I know it sounds cynical, and I know there's some good women out there that would never do that, but it's just not worth the risk. You could probably guess from my little investments might make you rich video, I always pick for the safer bet. Like obviously you can make way more money with a business as opposed to a career, but I tend to skew you guys towards a career because it's just a safer bet. Just pick the safer bet. Like I literally gamble on sports and I stock trade and swing trade, risky shit like that. Like I know odds and stuff, and I know when something's just not worth the risk. So avoid it if you can. If you can't avoid it and you need her help with her income to get a place, just make sure she's not a nutcase. Just spend more time vetting. I don't know, if that's your situation, I just hope she's a good woman. But I can make a whole video on that whole stuff another time. But anyway, case in point, asset protection, be careful who you date. But again, can't be saying that as a white-collar professional. Let your girl live with you rent-free. Be a man. Be chivalrous. You gotta get married. It's best for you. It's not a risk. She's not going to take your place. Just ignore all the other women in the past who did do that. You don't trust her? Pig. Who hurt you? So, see how I can't give that useful information if I have my identity online? Info like that can quite literally save your guys' lives. But I wouldn't be able to give advice or recommendations like that if I had a career that was a wide open target for cancel culture online. So that's why I keep my identity hidden. To protect my career primarily, which in turn protects a lot of my investments. And it can also protect my supermarket job too, since I know for a fact if I got doxxed, if I was well-known enough with a brand, a lot of people around my local region know who I am, simply because I've been at the supermarket job for a long time, and because I'm one of the bigger guys in the gym. So if they've seen me there, then if this brand got well-known in my area, I would be fucked. Some Karen-ass customers would whinge to the store or to the supermarket head office to get me fired. And then there goes the extra money I need for my house. And I need that job until I've built up enough of an asset base first. Hiding my identity also helps the brand in a way, as it allows me to be more authentic and not cause me to filter out information, and rather than just being another bland, generic channel on this platform. So that's why I keep my identity hidden. And unfortunately for Tails, he's been doxxed. I'll do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen to me. Thanks for watching. That is all.